The illusion of luxury living in America is falling apart right in front of us. As we step into 2025, the once unshakable high-end real estate market is collapsing faster and harder than almost anyone could have predicted. Cities that used to boast jaw-dropping, multi-million-dollar homes where bidding wars sparked overnight are now drowning in markdowns, anxious sellers, and sprawling mansions left eerily empty. And let's be clear, this isn't about modest family homes. We're talking about showpiece estates with infinity pools, gleaming marble kitchens, private rooftop lounges, and garages big enough for 6 cars. Not long ago, these homes were seen as the ultimate proof of making it. Now, they're sitting on the market untouched, with price tags slashed by hundreds of thousands, sometimes even by millions. This isn't just a cooling-off period. What we're witnessing is a dramatic crash in the luxury housing sector. So tonight, on Discover the Cities, we're counting down the top 10 cities where upscale real estate is taking the biggest hit. Stick with us to the very end, because the number 1 city on our list is hemorrhaging wealth at a speed we haven't seen since the crash of 2008. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, because this luxury meltdown is just the beginning of a much deeper unraveling in America's housing market, and we'll be here tracking every shocking turn as it unfolds. Number 10. Dallas, Texas. Once hailed as the crown jewel of Texas luxury real estate, Dallas was a playground for the wealthy. In areas like Highland Park, Preston Hollow, and Turtle Creek, homes routinely sold for $2 to $5 million, and some were off the market before ever appearing online. But fast forward to 2025, and that sparkle has lost its shine. What was once a red-hot market has cooled dramatically. Back in 2022, the median price for homes in the top 10%, classified as luxury, shot past $1.3 million. Today, those same properties are barely scraping $1.05 million. That's a staggering 20% drop in just 3 years. For ultra-luxury listings over $3 million, the numbers are even more brutal. Price reductions ranging from $500,000 to a full $1 million have become the norm. So what's driving the downturn? A perfect storm of oversupply and skyrocketing costs. During the pandemic, developers went all in on building massive McMansions and high-end condos, flooding the market with inventory. Now, homes priced over $1 million are sitting with nearly 10 months of supply, twice what's considered healthy. Properties that used to disappear within days? They're now sitting on Zillow for 120, even 180 days, collecting virtual dust. Then there's the brutal math of ownership. Dallas County's property taxes hover around 2.2%. That means a $2 million home racks up close to $45,000 a year in taxes alone. Add rising insurance premiums, now exceeding $12,000 annually due to the region's hail and severe storm risks, and monthly costs are punishing even for high-income buyers. And forget about rental income softening the blow. Luxury rentals average around $6,000 per month, but the cost to carry these properties often pushes past $10,000. For investors, what once looked like a cash flow goldmine is now a financial sinkhole. Quietly, many are cutting their losses and selling, often well below what they paid. Meanwhile, something once unthinkable in Dallas is beginning to creep in. Foreclosures. Tarrant and Dallas counties have seen a 14% rise in high-end foreclosure filings compared to last year. Dallas still gives off the image of wealth and success, but beneath that polished exterior, the foundation is cracking. For luxury home buyers, the idea of a safe bet in Dallas real estate is quickly becoming a thing of the past. What was once a booming icon of Texas prosperity is now a cautionary tale of how quickly a boom can turn into a bust. Number 9. Miami, Florida. Miami has long been seen as the ultimate American playground for the wealthy. Think penthouses with panoramic views of Biscayne Bay, extravagant waterfront mansions in Coral Gables, and sleek glass towers rising along Brickell Avenue. But in 2025, that glittering image is starting to shatter. The city's luxury housing market is now facing its harshest downturn since the 2008 financial collapse. Between 2020 and 2022, Miami was on fire. It became a global magnet for the ultra-rich. High-net-worth buyers from New York came running from high taxes, Californians chased warmer weather and looser regulations, and foreign investors from Brazil, Argentina, and Russia poured in billions, snapping up South Florida condos at record speed. Prices exploded. A condo on Brickell that sold for $1.5 million in 2019 was reselling for $2.4 million just 3 years later. Waterfront estates in Miami Beach doubled in value in under 5 years. But now the boom has busted. Luxury condo prices in Miami have tumbled by nearly 22% from their peak. That same $2 million unit that once triggered bidding wars? It's now struggling to move at $1.55 million. Mansions that were listed at $5 million are chopping $1 million off their price and still sitting on the market for months with no takers. The root of the problem? A flood of inventory and crushing costs. Between 2018 and 2024, Miami added over 20,000 new luxury condo units, and now there simply aren't enough buyers to absorb the surplus. At the same time, Florida's escalating insurance crisis has turned high-end homeownership into a financial burden. Annual insurance premiums for waterfront mansions have ballooned from around $15,000 to over $40,000. And if you live in a high-rise, get ready to pay up. HOA fees have doubled, with $1,500 per month now being the norm, and in some of the priciest towers, they top $2,500 monthly. Short-term rental investors, especially those banking on Airbnb profits, are heading for the exits. Occupancy rates in Miami have slipped below 55%, and nightly rates are down by 20% compared to their highs. On top of that, wealthy international buyers, once a major force in Miami's market, are pulling back, worried by rising U.S. interest rates and growing global uncertainty. The result? Tower after tower filled with empty units, desperate sellers, and fading optimism. The Miami luxury dream, sunshine, skyscrapers, and sweeping ocean views, is starting to collapse under its own weight. What was once the high-rise symbol of global wealth is now a cautionary tale of oversupply and unsustainable costs. Number 8. Scottsdale, Arizona. Once known as Arizona's shimmering desert escape, Scottsdale built its luxury brand on golf course mansions, gated communities, and sleek million-dollar condos with camelback mountain views. For years, it was the go-to destination for high-end living in the Southwest. But in 2025, that polished image is crumbling, fast. Scottsdale's luxury housing market is collapsing like a sandcastle caught in a monsoon. At its peak in 2022, the median price for luxury homes in the area reached around $1.2 million. Today, that number has slid to $975,000, a sharp 19% drop in just 3 years. And it gets worse for ultra-high-end properties. Homes priced over $3 million are now facing markdowns of $500,000 or more, and many are still sitting unsold after months on the market. So what happened? The core issue is a flood of inventory colliding with a shrinking pool of qualified buyers. Between 2018 and 2022, developers went on a building spree, cranking out luxury golf community homes at a frantic pace. Now, the market is bloated, with over 9 months of supply for homes priced above $1 million. Back in the boom, listings would disappear in under 20 days. Now, homes are lingering for 100 days or longer with barely any offers. Then there's the financial burden of just holding on to one of these properties. While Scottsdale's property taxes are lower than in states like California, insurance premiums have skyrocketed, thanks to increasing wildfire and flash flood risks in the desert. Annual coverage that used to run around $3,000 has now surged past $7,500. On top of that, with mortgage rates still above 7%, the monthly payment on a $1.5 million home has jumped from about $6,200 in 2021 to over $9,200 today, a crushing increase for many buyers. And if you're thinking rental income could help balance the books, think again. Scottsdale's once booming luxury vacation rental market is now oversaturated. Occupancy rates for high-end Airbnb-style homes have dipped below 50%, and nightly rates are down nearly 15%. Investors who once saw Scottsdale as a golf getaway goldmine are now racing to sell, often at painful losses. Foreclosures, which used to be nearly unheard of in upscale areas, are now appearing in places like North Scottsdale, where families who stretch to afford $2 million estates are suddenly underwater and unable to keep up. The bottom line? Scottsdale's image as a desert paradise for the wealthy is rapidly fading. The luxurious lifestyle it promised is starting to look more like a liability than a dream. For many, the era of sustainable luxury in this part of Arizona is coming to a dramatic end. Number 7. Los Angeles, California. For decades, Los Angeles stood at the heart of America's luxury housing scene. From the sprawling mansions of Beverly Hills to the sun-drenched estates lining the Malibu coast, LA was synonymous with multi-million-dollar dreams and celebrity-level living. But in 2025, that dream is starting to unravel. And in some cases, it's turning into a full-on foreclosure nightmare. The numbers paint a dramatic picture. In 2021, the median price for luxury homes in LA County peaked at $3.2 million. By mid-2025, that number has slipped to around $2.55 million, marking a steep 21% drop. And the ultra-luxury market? Homes priced over $10 million are seeing price slashes of $2 to $4 million just to get a single buyer's attention. So what's fueling LA's high-end housing collapse? A lethal combo of oversupply, inflated living costs, and shifting market dynamics. Years of speculative construction left the city drowning in excess inventory. Add in California's notoriously high property taxes, and you've got a recipe for a market under pressure. Mortgage rates above 7% are making financing these properties borderline impossible, pushing monthly payments for estates in the $15 to $20 million range into seven figures. That's right, million-dollar monthly payments. Meanwhile, insurance premiums have surged, especially for fire-prone areas like Malibu. Owning one of those coastal gems now means coughing up over $100,000 annually just for coverage. Even HOA fees are adding to the burden, having doubled in many gated hillside enclaves. Then there's the economic shadow looming over Hollywood. Widespread layoffs in the entertainment industry and shrinking tax incentives have thinned out the local pool of wealthy buyers. The once reliable stream of foreign investors has slowed to a trickle as global instability and U.S. interest rates scare off international capital. And don't count on rentals to bail anyone out. Luxury rental rates have flatlined, and new restrictions on short-term rentals have slammed Airbnb investors, cutting off what used to be a major revenue source for owners. Now, the unthinkable is happening. Foreclosures are creeping into places like Beverly Hills and Calabasas. Banks are repossessing multi-million-dollar homes from over-leveraged owners who stretched too far during the boom. Drive through once glamorous neighborhoods, and you'll spot something new. Not Ferraris or Bentleys, but price-reduced banners hanging on gates where red carpets used to be rolled out. The myth of Los Angeles as a luxury market immune to downturns is cracking. And as it crumbles, it's revealing a harsh truth. Even the city of stars can't rewrite the ending when the housing market starts to implode. Number 6. San Francisco, California. Once the crown jewel of West Coast affluence, San Francisco was a city where tech billionaires and venture capital elites fought over mansions in Pacific Heights and snatched up sleek, high-rise condos downtown. But by 2025, that glittering image has shattered. The city is now in the midst of a full-blown luxury housing implosion. At its peak in 2020, the median price for a high-end home hit $3.5 million. Fast forward to today, and that number has plummeted to $2.75 million, a sharp 22% decline. And the downtown condo market. It's taken an even harder hit, with luxury units losing nearly 30% of their values since the peak. So, what's behind San Francisco's dramatic fall? It's a perfect storm of collapsing demand, rising costs, and an unraveling urban core. The tech sector, the engine that once powered this market, has suffered massive layoffs, gutting the city's high-income buyer base. Meanwhile, the remote work revolution has drained interest in living downtown, leaving once buzzing luxury towers eerily quiet. Add to that ongoing struggles with crime, homelessness, and deteriorating infrastructure, factors that have driven many would-be buyers to look elsewhere. And then there's the cost of simply owning property here. A $3 million home racks up over $35,000 a year in property taxes. Insurance, especially for earthquake coverage, now exceeds $15,000 annually. Inventory is also surging. The luxury condos that used to sell within days? Many now sit untouched for over 200 days, collecting dust and draining developer capital. To move units, developers are getting desperate. offering free HOA fees, upgraded interiors, and even free Teslas just to get buyers through the door. But the enthusiasm is gone. Even seasoned investors are backing away. The luxury rental market isn't helping either. Demand has dropped sharply, and high-end rents have fallen by nearly 18%, making it harder for landlords to break even, let alone profit. And quietly, foreclosures are creeping in. In upscale neighborhoods once thought untouchable, families who stretched to afford $4 million homes during the tech boom are now underwater, watching their property values slide month after month. San Francisco, once seen as a fortress of wealth built on the seemingly endless rise of tech, is now becoming the poster child for market overdependence. When a city ties its housing market to a single industry and that industry falters, the fall can be swift and brutal. Number 5. Aspen, Colorado. For years, Aspen wasn't just a ski town, it was the pinnacle of American luxury. A secluded mountain haven where $10 to $20 million ski chalets were the norm, billionaire compounds were tucked into snowy hillsides, and one-bedroom condos sold for more than full-blown mansions in other cities. But in 2025, even Aspen isn't immune. The market that once seemed untouchable is now sliding downhill fast. Luxury home values have dropped by nearly 18% from their 2022 highs. That $12 million chalet bought by a hedge fund titan? It's now struggling to sell at $9.5 million. High-end vacation condos that once went for $4 million are being relisted for $3.2 million and still aren't moving. So what happened to one of America's most exclusive housing markets? Simply put, demand has dried up. Rising interest rates have made even ultra-wealthy buyers think twice. Mortgages on multi-million-dollar properties are now eye-wateringly expensive, and the once deep pool of billionaire buyers who flock to Aspen has started to shrink. Many of them are now shifting their investments to overseas markets, seeking more value or fewer restrictions. Meanwhile, the cost of holding a property in Aspen has exploded. From property taxes and sky-high wildfire insurance to ballooning HOA fees in private ski communities, the annual cost to simply own one of these homes can run into the hundreds of thousands. What used to feel like a luxury indulgence now feels like financial quicksand. Investors haven't been spared either. Tightening short-term rental regulations have gutted the once profitable Airbnb market. Income from vacation rentals, once the key justification for those $10 million purchases, is down more than 25%. As a result, homes are lingering on the market far longer than they used to. Some have sat unsold for over 200 days. And while foreclosures in Aspen are still relatively rare, they're starting to appear. Even in this ultra-rich enclave, over-leveraged buyers are beginning to default. The myth that Aspen was recession-proof has officially cracked. Its luxury crash is a powerful reminder. No market is invincible when the numbers stop making sense. Number 4. The Hamptons, New York. Once the ultimate summer escape for Manhattan's elite, the Hamptons are now facing a luxury meltdown in 2025 that no one saw coming. At the peak in 2021, the median price for high-end homes in this seaside playground soared to $3.2 million. Fast forward to today, and that number has slipped to around $2.6 million, an 18% drop. And for the ultra-luxury beachfront estates, the crash is even steeper. Properties that once demanded $20 million or more are now slashing $3 to $5 million just to get a nibble of interest. So, what flipped the script on this iconic enclave of wealth and exclusivity? A flood of inventory and unsustainable costs. During the pandemic, as New Yorkers fled the city, developers jumped at the chance to build dozens of sprawling luxury homes. Now, the market is bloated, sitting on nearly 12 months' worth of supply. Homes that once sold in a matter of weeks are now collecting dust for 180 days or more. But the bigger issue? The cost of simply holding one of these homes is brutal. For an $8 million estate, property taxes alone top $120,000 a year. Add hurricane and flood insurance, which now runs over $50,000 annually, and you're still not done. Maintaining a luxury property in the Hamptons, staff, groundskeeping, security, repairs, can easily push annual carrying costs to $300,000 to $500,000. And if you're hoping short-term rentals will help offset those costs, think again. The vacation rental market here is oversaturated. Weekly rates for Hamptons homes are down nearly 25%, and many investors who expected to cash in on Wall Street vacationers are now bleeding money instead. Even worse, foreclosures are starting to appear. Banks are repossessing multi-million-dollar homes, something that was once unthinkable in this zip code. The Hamptons were once defined by prestige, scarcity, and a seemingly endless stream of demand. But now, that legacy is cracking. What was once the East Coast's crown jewel of luxury living is becoming one of its most dramatic housing busts. Number 3. Las Vegas, Nevada. Las Vegas has always been about flash. Sky-high penthouses on the Strip, over-the-top mansions with backyard nightclubs and infinity pools, and hillside estates designed to scream status. But in 2025, the city's luxury housing market isn't dazzling, it's deflating. At its peak in 2022, the median price for luxury homes hit $1.1 million. Today, it's dropped to $880,000, a sharp 20% fall that sent shockwaves through the high-end market. Homes priced above $2 million are slashing anywhere from $400,000 to $600,000, yet still struggling to find buyers. Listings that once got snapped up overnight are now gathering dust for months. So, what went wrong? A massive oversupply and sky-high costs. During the pandemic, developers bet big, believing the real estate party in Vegas would never end. They overbuilt, and now the city is sitting on nearly 11 months of luxury inventory, far beyond what the market can handle. Mortgage rates above 7% have made even well-off buyers think twice. The numbers just don't add up anymore. Monthly payments that were around $6,000 in 2021 have now climbed to over $9,000, a stunning increase in just a few years. And that's not including the carrying costs. A $2 million home racks up over $20,000 annually in property taxes. Add another $7,000 for insurance covering desert floods and wildfire risk, and the cost of ownership becomes a heavy burden. The short-term rental market isn't providing relief either. Airbnb bookings are down 20%, and oversaturation means many vacation homes are sitting empty. Investors who banked on the constant churn of tourists are now offloading properties, often at significant losses. And behind the scenes, foreclosures are quietly rising, even in affluent areas like Summerlin and Henderson. The Vegas luxury fantasy, once defined by glitz, glamour, and limitless demand, is losing its shine. Behind the neon glow, desperation is setting in. For the first time in decades, Las Vegas isn't selling a dream, it's selling losses. Number 2. San Diego, California. Once seen as Southern California's quieter, classier answer to Los Angeles, San Diego offered a different kind of luxury. Seaside mansions in La Jolla, cliffside estates in Del Mar, and glass-wrapped condos overlooking the harbor. But in 2025, that serene luxury market is coming apart fast. Back in 2021, the median price for high-end homes topped $2.4 million. Today, that number has sunk to $1.95 million, a 19% drop that sent shockwaves through the region's wealthiest zip codes. The top tier is hurting even more. Ultra-luxury homes priced above $8 million are being chopped down by $1.5 to $2 million and still struggling to sell. So what's fueling the collapse? A combination of runaway costs and a bloated market. A $5 million home in La Jolla now costs over $55,000 a year in property taxes alone. Factor in wildfire and flood insurance, which has surged past $25,000 annually, and you're staring down massive ownership expenses. And with mortgage rates now hovering above 7%, monthly payments for these homes have exploded, from around $12,000 in 2021 to over $18,000 in 2025. Meanwhile, inventory is piling up fast. Luxury listings are sitting unsold for 150 days or more, and desperation is starting to show. Sellers are cutting prices, offering high-end concessions, even throwing in free luxury cars to sweeten the deal. But buyers? They're just not showing up. Rental income isn't riding to the rescue either. High-end vacation rentals are flailing, with average occupancy now below 50%. Rents that once covered carrying costs are now falling 25% short, leaving investors bleeding cash. And now, foreclosures are creeping in, even in some of San Diego's most prestigious neighborhoods. Families who stretched to buy $3 to $5 million estates during the boom are now watching their equity disappear, with no easy way out. What was once a picture of coastal luxury is now a warning sign. San Diego's high-end housing dream is collapsing, crushed by costs, oversupply, and a shrinking pool of buyers. Number 1. New York City, New York. For decades, New York City was the undisputed king of luxury real estate. From sky-high penthouses gazing over Central Park to historic brownstones in the Upper East Side and towering glass condos downtown, it was the global symbol of wealth, power, and prestige. But now, in 2025, that empire is falling. New York is facing what many are calling the worst luxury housing crash in modern history. Back in 2020, the median price for a luxury home in NYC reached a staggering $4.5 million. Fast forward to today, and that number has plunged to $3.55 million, a 21% collapse. And it's even uglier at the top. Ultra-luxury penthouses once priced at $50 million have had to slash $10 to $15 million off their asking prices. And they're still sitting on the market, unsold and unwanted. So what's behind the fall of the world's most iconic real estate market? It's a deadly mix: severe oversupply, crippling costs, and vanishing demand. Years of non-stop construction flooded Manhattan with billionaire-targeted condo towers. Now, many of those glass giants are mostly empty. Owning here isn't just expensive, it's punishing. A $10 million condo racks up $200,000 per year in property taxes. Monthly HOA fees top $5,000, and insurance costs are climbing higher each quarter. And if you're financing? The mortgage on a $20 million unit in today's interest rate environment is nothing short of astronomical. And here's the kicker: the buyers have disappeared. Wall Street bonuses are shrinking. International buyers are pulling out. Remote work has stripped Manhattan of its old gravitational pull. Suddenly, that must-have NYC address just isn't. Inventory for ultra-luxury condos is now sitting at 14 months of supply. Entire buildings are half empty. And luxury rents? They're softening too. High vacancy rates haunt towers that were once symbols of unlimited demand. Investors are cutting their losses fast. And for the first time in living memory, foreclosures are entering Manhattan's luxury scene. The unthinkable has become reality. The New York City skyline, once a beacon of unstoppable wealth, is now filled with glass towers that no one wants to live in. A symbol of status turned into a monument of oversupply. This isn't just a price correction, it's a generational collapse of wealth. From Dallas to San Francisco, Miami to Manhattan, the luxury housing fantasy is coming undone. Price cuts, surging foreclosures, and evaporating demand are sweeping through America's richest zip codes. The myth that luxury real estate was too rare, too valuable, too insulated to crash, it's been shattered. And here's the terrifying part. This isn't just bigger than 2008. This is hitting the top 1%. If these markets can fall, it raises one chilling question. Who's next? This is Discover the Cities. If this breakdown opened your eyes, make sure to hit subscribe, because we're not done uncovering how far this unraveling goes.